Hi, my friends. It's Amy from the Wood County District Public Library here for story time. I've got my story time crown on. If you need to go get yours, go ahead. I'll be right here. Today, I'm going to read Jack and the Beanstalk. It's a great story that I used to read to my kids. This one is adapted by Maura, Alperin, and we want to thank Scholastic Press for making this awesome version that we can enjoy together. There are lots of different kinds of stories of Jack and the Beanstalk. Some are the same story, some make them a little bit different. Those are called retellings, fairy tale retellings, or fractured fairy tales. Sometimes they combine a bunch of stories, which is pretty fun to think about. You could write your own story of Jack and the Beanstalk. I'm going to read this one today, and it goes like this. Deep in the countryside lived a widow and her son, Jack. A widow is somebody whose husband has passed away, has died. Their cottage was crumbling, and their clothes were patched. They were very, very poor. One day, Jack's mother said, "We must sell our cow. Take her to market, Jack, and bring home some gold pieces." And so off he set to town. But before Jack had gotten very far, he met a strange little man. "That's a fine cow," said the man. "I'll swap you 5 magic beans for her." Swap is like trade. "Magic beans," said Jack. "Are they really magic?" "Magic they are, or chop off my beard and knit it into a sweater," croaked the little old man. That's a weird thing to say, huh? Magic beans. Jack couldn't wait to tell his mother. He clutched them tightly and ran all the way home. See how these letters are a different kind than these letters? That means that's the author's way of telling us that he's super excited about his magic beans. But Jack's mother was furious. She wants us to know that that's an important word. "We need money, not useless old beans," she cried, and she threw them out the window in disgust. But late that night, a tiny bean sprout poked out from the ground. And then it grew and grew and grew. And see how these letters get bigger? And these are even capital letters. That's how big this beanstalk grew overnight while Jack slept. The next morning, the beanstalk stretched high into the sky. "The beans were magic," Jack cried. "But what's at the top?" Jack climbed up, up, up the beanstalk. And these letters are getting bigger because he's going so high up a beanstalk, big enough for him to climb. At last, he reached the very top. There, shimmering in the sunlight, was a magnificent castle. Just then, Jack's stomach rumbled. "I must find some breakfast," he thought, and he tapped on the castle door. Oops, my crown fell off. The door creaked open, and a huge giantess, that's a woman giant, a girl giant, smiled down. "Hello," Jack shouted up. "Please, do you have any food?" "You poor thing," boomed the giantess. This is the way the giantess is speaking, very loudly because she's just so big. "Come right in, but quickly, before the giant gets up." What a marvelous feast! There was an enormous loaf of bread and a gigantic jar of jelly. Jack dug in at once. But suddenly the room began to shake. Look at this. Boom! 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 Those are very loud letters, aren't they? That's a very loud sound, she wants us to know. Oh my goodness, cried the giantess. He's coming! And she shoved Jack under a teacup to hide. They're so big that Jack can hide under a teacup. Into the room stomped a big, scary, hungry giant. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman, he said. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread. Don't be silly, there's nobody here but us, the giantess scolded. Now go and wash before breakfast. Now remember her letters were pretty big, but when she's talking to the giant, who's even bigger and meaner and louder, her letters look like they're normal. Jack trembled. Look at these trembling letters. I must leave now, he thought. He was halfway down the hall when he heard a squawk. It was a hen with bright golden feathers. Help, she clucked. Set me free and I'll lay you golden eggs every morning. Jack scooped up the hen, and then he heard huge footsteps thundering after them. Fee, fi, fo, fum, roared the giant. I smell the blood of an Englishman, and there he is. Jack raced out of the door. He jumped. You see where he's jumping. They gave us a clue. He's jumping onto the beanstalk and slid down the beanstalk. Down, down, down. Mother, quick, bring the axe, he shouted. Jack's mother swung the axe at the beanstalk. Thwack. That's like a sound word. That's kind of what this author thinks that the axe sounds like when it's hitting the beanstalk. It shuddered and shook, and the giant came tumbling down. Fee, fi, fo, crash. There she cut the beanstalk, and he's so big all we can see are his feet. That was the end of the giant. That's important. Those are important letters. Jack hugged his mother. Look what I found, he said, and he showed her the golden hen. Oh, Jack, said his mother, I'm so glad you're safe, and you were right about those magic beans. So Jack and his mother and the golden hen all lived happily ever after. And with lots of golden eggs, they were never poor again. Look, they have so many golden eggs, it's in a pile, and they've decorated their house and trees with it. And the golden eggs slide down the chute and into the pool. They look like a happy family again. The end.